The great council of alien species had gathered in the grand chamber of the flagship Orion. The chamber was enormous, with high ceilings that glowed with shifting colors. Alien leaders floated on platforms, some hovering without touching the ground. Their shapes and appearances varied greatly. Some had long limbs, some had wings, and some had skin that shone with light. Every one of them looked powerful, wise, and in complete control. They had called humanity to answer a demand that could decide the fate of Earth. Commander Jack Harris stepped onto the platform. He was human, tall and lean, with sharp eyes that looked at the council without fear. Beside him was Lieutenant Clara Benson, carrying a small tablet to record every moment. She was calm but alert, knowing how dangerous this meeting could become. Both humans had been trained for situations like this, but nothing had prepared them for facing hundreds of alien leaders at once. The chamber became silent as the council spoke. The voice was not from a single person, but a chorus of tones, each one different, creating a sound that was both beautiful and terrifying. Humanity, the council said, you are called to give tribute for your survival in this galaxy. Your resources, your fleets, your allegiance. We demand you surrender to our will so that we may protect your planet. Jack listened carefully. He could feel the tension in the room, the weight of thousands of eyes and minds focused on him. He knew that giving in could save Earth in one sense, but it would also mean losing freedom. Humanity had never been strong in numbers in the galaxy, but they had always had courage and determination. He looked at Clara, who gave a slight nod. They had prepared for every question, every threat, and every possible outcome. They had prepared, most of all, for the need to be brave. Jack took a deep breath and answered clearly, without hesitation. No. The word echoed in the chamber. It was simple, one syllable, but it carried more power than anyone expected. The council froze. Some leaders leaned closer to each other, whispering in alien tones. Some tilted their heads as if unable to believe what they had heard. One of the taller aliens raised a hand and the light from his body flickered in confusion. The humans were calm. They did not bow, they did not shake, and they did not show fear. Jack's eyes met the eyes of the council's chief leader, a being named Vorith. Vorith had scales that shimmered in blue and green and eyes that glowed like molten gold. He looked at Jack with curiosity and a hint of irritation. Are you certain? Vorith asked. This refusal could bring war upon your planet. Jack's voice was steady. Yes, we are certain. We cannot give tribute. We cannot surrender our freedom. Clara added. We are willing to negotiate, to discuss peaceful ways to work with other species, but we will not submit. The council murmured among themselves. Many were shocked. Some could not understand how a species so young and small in the galaxy could have the courage to speak this way. Others were intrigued. There were whispers that went through the chamber, questions about the humans' history, about their wars, their successes, and their failures. The humans had survived many challenges on their own planet, and it seemed that survival had made them brave. Vorith floated closer, his massive form creating waves in the chamber's air. Your courage is remarkable, human. Yet it may not be enough. Many worlds have tried defiance and failed. Your species is fragile. Why should we trust you? Jack straightened his back. Because we do not hide behind fear. We face challenges. We learn, we grow. We cannot promise that we will always succeed, but we can promise that we will never surrender our spirit. A few council members whispered in agreement. Some alien species were curious about the human strength that came not from numbers or weapons, but from determination and intelligence. They had never seen a species with so little yet willing to stand up to the galaxy's greatest powers. Jack's one-word reply, no, had set an example that began to ripple through the council. Vorith raised his hand and the chamber went silent again. Very well, human. You have made your choice. But understand that choices have consequences. Tributes are demanded not for cruelty but for balance. Your refusal may invite other species to act against you. Jack nodded. We understand. But humanity will make its own decisions guided by reason, courage, and unity. We will not be intimidated into giving what we cannot give. Clara began to speak. We are willing to work together in areas that benefit all, like science, culture, and exploration. We hope that this can be the start of mutual respect rather than forced tribute. The council looked at each other, some with suspicion, some with admiration. The humans had presented themselves not as weak beings begging for mercy, but as equals seeking understanding. Their calm, firm voices left an impression. The chamber seemed to shift, a new tension forming not of fear but of uncertainty. Jack and Clara stepped down from the platform and returned to Earth's representative ship. The journey home was quiet, but both felt the weight of their actions. Back on Earth, news spread quickly. Every person felt pride that their species had stood without fear. Scientists, teachers, engineers, and soldiers all shared in the feeling that humanity had taken a place in the galaxy by the strength of courage, not weapons. Preparations began on Earth for any possible threat. Though the humans could not match the alien fleets in size or firepower, they had ingenuity and knowledge. They improved communication networks, created defensive strategies, and trained teams to respond to emergencies. Humanity had one advantage that could never be taken away: unity and determination. Meanwhile, alien observers noted every action. Some recorded the human response as remarkable, others as foolish. The council debated, unsure of how to proceed. The humans' simple refusal had created more questions than answers, and now, even those who had expected an easy tribute were forced to reconsider. What kind of species was capable of such confidence? What strength could lie behind a single word? Back on the flagship Orion, Vorith considered the humans again. Their spirit was unique, unexpected. He realized that controlling humanity would not be simple, and perhaps he thought it should not be attempted at all. There was a quiet respect forming, even if unspoken, for a species that had so boldly refused the demands of the galaxy's powerful council. As Earth's representatives returned, the planet watched the stars with a renewed sense of pride. Humanity had sent a clear message. They would not bow, they would not surrender, and they would face the galaxy on their own terms. The simple word that Jack had spoken, "No," had already begun to echo across the stars. It was a sound of courage, of hope, and of humanity's unwillingness to be controlled. This was the beginning of a new chapter in the galaxy, and humanity was ready to write its own story. After the first meeting with the council, Earth felt a mix of pride and tension. Jack Harris and Clara Benson returned as heroes, but they knew that the council would not forget humanity's refusal. The galaxy was filled with species more powerful than humans, and many of them did not respect a simple word like "no." The humans had to be prepared for what could come next. Jack and Clara convened with a small team of advisors in a secure room on Earth's orbital station. Among them were scientists, military leaders, and diplomats, all dedicated to protecting humanity. They discussed possible reactions from the council. Some aliens might try to force tribute with fleets and weapons. Others might attempt subtle manipulation, offering promises or gifts to sway humans. The team weighed each scenario carefully, knowing that every choice could affect the survival of the planet. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, news of humanity's defiance spread quickly. Some species were amused, others were irritated, and a few were genuinely impressed. Whispers reached the ears of smaller civilizations, who wondered if humans might actually be stronger than they appeared. Even among the council, there was disagreement. Some leaders argued that forcing humanity into submission would be simple. Others suggested that the humans' courage and unity could make them unpredictable, a challenge that might be better respected than crushed. On Earth, Jack led a series of strategic exercises. These were not traditional war games. Humans did not have massive fleets to match alien ships. Instead, they focused on intelligence, communication, and innovation. Teams of engineers created new ways to disrupt alien sensors. Scientists developed technologies to strengthen Earth's defenses. Soldiers trained in advanced tactics, learning to act quickly and think creatively in unpredictable situations. Clara coordinated information gathering. Every message from the council, every signal from alien observers was carefully monitored. She decoded communications looking for signs of threat, negotiation, or change in attitude. Slowly, patterns emerged. Some aliens seemed fascinated by humanity's refusal. They were curious about how a species so small could display such determination. Others plotted ways to test the humans, perhaps sending scouts or envoys to observe more closely. Jack and Clara decided to prepare humanity for contact without fear. They organized a series of educational programs to train future leaders, diplomats, and defenders. Schools and universities focused on communication, negotiation, and critical thinking. People learned about the galaxy, the different species, and the strategies that might be required to survive. Humanity was learning not just to defend but to understand, to adapt, and to grow stronger together. Months passed and small alien ships began to appear near Earth, quietly observing. The humans welcomed the delegations, offering a show of cooperation without submission. Clara often met with alien envoys, speaking clearly and patiently. Jack led teams to demonstrate technology and resource management. Every action was carefully measured to show that humanity was capable, intelligent, and peaceful, but never willing to be controlled. The council noticed the changes. Some leaders whispered to each other about the unexpected human spirit. What had started as a defiant no was now becoming a symbol of strength. Small factions within the council began to admire humanity's courage. They saw a species that could survive and thrive, not by conquering but by intelligence, collaboration, and bravery. It was a new model, different from anything they had known before. One evening, Jack and Clara received a message from an unexpected source, a minor species from the edge of the galaxy. They requested a meeting. Jack agreed, curious to learn why a smaller species would seek contact. The meeting was held on a neutral satellite, and the leaders of the minor species spoke with respect and admiration. "We have watched your courage," one said. "Your simple refusal has given hope to many of us. The council may see you as weak, but you are stronger than most." Clara asked, "Why contact us now? What do you want?" The alien leader replied, "We want to learn. Your people have shown wisdom beyond your numbers. We believe there is much that we can share, and much we can learn from each other." Jack and Clara realized that humanity's reputation was growing. The one word no had not just echoed through the council, it had inspired curiosity and respect across the stars. Humanity was becoming more than just a planet. It was becoming an example. Back on Earth, preparations continued. Humanity strengthened its defenses, but always with the goal of protection, not aggression. Engineers built new communication networks that could reach deep space. Scientists developed sensors to monitor the movement of alien fleets. Pilots trained for rapid response, learning maneuvers that could outwit larger ships. Every human knew that courage, intelligence, and teamwork were their greatest assets. At the council, discussions about humanity became intense. Some leaders argued for immediate action, believing that humanity's defiance must be crushed before it inspired others. Others suggested patience, warning that underestimating humans could be dangerous. Vorith, the chief of the council, listened carefully. He remembered Jack's calm words, the simplicity of no, and the way humans had carried themselves with dignity. He began to question whether forcing tribute was the right approach. Could a species with such courage be valuable as an ally rather than an enemy? The months turned into a year. Humanity had grown stronger, not in fleets or weapons, but in unity, intelligence, and determination. Jack and Clara continued to lead with calm and confidence. The galaxy watched, and the human story became a quiet legend among distant civilizations. It was a story of courage, of standing firm against overwhelming power, and of choosing principles over fear. One day, a new delegation arrived, larger than before, from multiple species. They came to Earth not with threats, but with questions. They wanted to understand the humans who could say no to the galaxy's greatest powers and still survive. Jack welcomed them, offering tours of Earth's achievements, explanations of human governance, and demonstrations of technology and culture. Clara translated, mediated, and explained with patience. The visitors were impressed. They had expected weakness, but they found intelligence, compassion, and courage. Jack spoke to them. Humanity believes in its own future. We do not need tribute, but we do seek friendship and understanding. We will not surrender our freedom, but we will share our knowledge and work together wherever possible. The alien delegates nodded. Many left Earth with new respect for humanity. Some reported back to the council that humans were not to be underestimated. Some leaders whispered that perhaps tribute was no longer necessary, that humanity might become an unexpected force of change, a species whose courage could inspire others. The humans had learned an important lesson as well. Defiance alone was not enough. Courage must be combined with knowledge, strategy, and unity. Every human became a small ambassador, representing their planet with intelligence, integrity, and pride. Jack and Clara had started a movement, a way for humanity to survive and thrive without submission. As the stars stretched across the night sky, humans looked up and felt a new confidence. They had faced the galaxy's council and said no. They had not cowered, and they had not been broken. Instead, they had grown stronger, smarter, and more respected. The galaxy was beginning to take notice, and humanity's place among the stars was no longer defined by fear, but by courage and determination. In the following months, the humans continued their work, building alliances with smaller species, sharing knowledge, and preparing for any challenge that might come from the Council. Jack and Clara led every step, always calm, always thoughtful, always courageous. The word no had become a symbol, and humanity had learned how to turn that symbol into a tool of strength. The echoes of their defiance continued to resonate, moving not just through the Council, but across the entire galaxy, carrying with them a message of courage, intelligence, and hope. Humanity's defiance had not gone unnoticed, and the galaxy continued to watch closely. Jack Harris and Clara Benson had become symbols of courage, not just for Earth, but for distant worlds as well. Every step they took was carefully calculated, balancing diplomacy, defense, and strategy. They knew that the Council would not stop easily, and humanity needed to prove it could survive on its own terms. Earth had changed since the first meeting. People were no longer just preparing for possible threats. They were actively learning about the galaxy, its species, and their cultures. Schools taught interstellar communication. Universities explored alien technology. Scientists worked with engineers to develop new defensive systems, combining innovation with intelligence. Humanity was building strength that went beyond physical power. Jack and Clara led missions to observe alien fleets. Small, agile ships traveled beyond Earth's orbit to gather information without causing alarm. Each mission provided valuable data about movement, strategy, and technology. Pilots learned to read patterns and anticipate actions, training for situations where strength alone would not win. Every member of the crew understood that survival required unity, creativity, and courage. The Council noticed the humans' progress. Many leaders were still skeptical, but some began to whisper among themselves, admiring the resilience of a species so young and small. Humanity's refusal to offer tribute was no longer seen as simple defiance. It had become a test of character and intelligence. Observers were intrigued by how humans could combine diplomacy, strategy, and courage to make a lasting impression. One day, a message arrived from an unexpected source, the Cathari, a species known for their wisdom and patience. They requested a meeting to discuss cooperation and shared knowledge. Jack and Clara agreed, understanding that alliances were as important as defense. The Cathari had long observed the galaxy and offered insights that could help humanity navigate complex situations. Their ships arrived near Earth, sleek and silent, carrying leaders who spoke of respect and curiosity. The meeting was held on a neutral station, designed for communication and exchange. Jack and Clara presented Earth's progress, sharing details about defense systems, communication networks, and cultural advancements. The Cathari listened attentively, asking questions and offering guidance. They spoke of the importance of patience, adaptability, and intelligence when dealing with powerful species. Jack realized that humanity could gain strength not only from its own efforts, but also from learning and forming relationships with others. Clara translated and mediated, ensuring that every word was understood clearly. She noticed the subtle shifts in Cathari expressions, approving nods, raised eyes, and small gestures of respect. The humans had not just survived, they had impressed, learned, and grown stronger through their actions. This was the beginning of a network of support that could help humanity navigate the galaxy without submission. Back on Earth, the Council's fleets moved closer. Larger ships appeared in orbit, not in attack but in observation. Vorith, the Council chief, wanted to see how humans would react. Jack and Clara maintained calm, welcoming the observers and offering demonstrations of Earth's technology, culture, and achievements. The aliens had expected fear, confusion, or compliance, but they found intelligence, courage, and cooperation. The presence of the Council fleets created tension, but it also gave humanity a chance to demonstrate strategic thinking. Engineers adjusted systems to monitor movements, and scientists developed algorithms to predict patterns. Soldiers trained in defensive maneuvers, ensuring that Earth could respond effectively to unexpected events. Every action was carefully planned to show capability without aggression. Humanity's confidence was growing, and their calm demeanor impressed many alien observers. Meanwhile, smaller species began to contact Earth, inspired by humanity's courage. They shared knowledge, technology, and ideas, forming alliances that strengthened humanity's position. Jack and Clara coordinated these interactions, ensuring that every exchange was beneficial and respectful. Humanity was becoming a respected member of the interstellar community, not because of force but because of intelligence, bravery, and collaboration. The Council debated how to respond. Some leaders were frustrated, believing that humans were being manipulated by smaller species and alliances. Others argued that underestimating humanity could be dangerous. Fourth observed quietly, reflecting on Jack's calm demeanor and Clara's careful diplomacy. He realized that humanity's refusal to submit had revealed a species capable of strategic thinking, resilience, and courage. Perhaps they were more valuable as partners than as subjects. Humanity continued to strengthen its position. Earth's communication systems expanded, linking with distant species and sharing information across vast distances. Scientists developed new technologies, blending human ingenuity with knowledge from allies. Pilots trained in advanced maneuvers, learning to respond quickly and creatively. Every human understood the importance of intelligence, unity, and adaptability. Jack and Clara led missions to explore unknown regions, seeking information about distant civilizations and resources. They recorded every observation, noting patterns, potential threats, and opportunities for cooperation. Each mission increased humanity's understanding of the galaxy and demonstrated their capability to navigate complex situations. Other species began to respect humanity not for size or weaponry, but for intelligence, courage, and adaptability. The Council's attitude began to shift. While some leaders remained skeptical, others whispered of the humans' potential. Humanity's one-word refusal had grown into a symbol of resilience, inspiring admiration and caution. Vorth considered the possibility that humans could influence other species, showing that courage and intelligence could challenge established power structures. The Council realized that tribute alone could not command respect, only actions and principles could. Earth's people felt the impact of these developments. Citizens understood that their world was part of a larger community, and that humanity's choices mattered across the galaxy. Scientists, engineers, and leaders worked together, building strength and knowledge. The simple word "no" had become a rallying cry, a message of courage, unity, and intelligence. Humanity's refusal to submit had grown into a force that extended beyond Earth itself. As the stars stretched across the sky, Jack and Clara looked out from Earth's orbital station. They reflected on how far humanity had come, from a single word of defiance to a position of growing respect and influence. The journey was not over. Challenges remained, and the Council's presence was a constant reminder that the galaxy was vast and unpredictable. But humanity had learned an important lesson. Courage, intelligence, and unity could shape destiny. The echoes of their defiance continued to resonate, inspiring hope and strength across the stars. Humanity's story was now more than survival. It was about influence, respect, and preparation for the future. Jack and Clara knew that the next steps would be crucial. As the Council tested boundaries and alliances shifted, every choice mattered, and every action could have consequences across worlds. Yet humanity faced the challenges with confidence, proving that even a small species could make a lasting impact through determination, intelligence, and courage. Earth had grown stronger and wiser since humanity's first defiance of the Council. Jack Harris and Clara Benson continued to lead with calm determination, guiding humanity as they prepared for new challenges. Every day brought new lessons and experiences, each one shaping humans into a species capable of surviving and thriving among the stars. The Council had decided to send a delegation to Earth. This time, it was not a simple envoy. Ships descended from orbit, massive and imposing, their surfaces reflecting the sunlight like mirrors. The delegation represented multiple species, each with its own unique form and abilities. The humans knew that this visit could test their courage, intelligence, and diplomacy more than ever. Jack and Clara welcomed the delegation with poise. They had prepared for this moment, organizing demonstrations of human culture, technology, and achievements. Schools, research centers, and cities were open for observation. Humans explained their governance, their collaborative efforts, and their approach to problem-solving. The aliens observed carefully, their curiosity evident in their expressions and gestures. The delegation was surprised. They had expected fear, submission, or confusion. Instead, they found intelligence, creativity, and calm courage. Clara explained the importance of unity and respect in human society. Jack spoke of humanity's history, its struggles, and its ability to learn from challenges. Every word, every action, demonstrated that humans were not weak but capable and resilient. The aliens moved through Earth, observing daily life, technology, and scientific progress. They saw humans working together to solve complex problems, managing resources efficiently and protecting their planet. The delegation began to understand that tribute could not command respect from a species that valued freedom, learning and courage above all else. Meanwhile, smaller species continued to contact Earth. Many were inspired by humanity's courage and wanted to share knowledge and resources. Jack and Clara coordinated these interactions, ensuring that every alliance strengthened humanity's position without compromising principles. Each exchange built trust and mutual respect, showing that humans could lead by example rather than force. At the council, debates continued. Some leaders were frustrated, believing that humans should be forced into submission. Others argued that patience and observation might be wiser. Vorith, the council chief, reflected on the humans' behavior. He remembered Jack's calm words, Clara's careful explanations, and the growing respect humans commanded from smaller species. He began to see that humanity could be an unexpected ally, a species whose courage and intelligence could influence the galaxy in ways that brute force could not. Back on Earth, humanity prepared for every possibility. Engineers developed new communication networks and sensors to monitor alien fleets. Scientists experimented with technologies that could enhance defense and cooperation. Pilots trained for advanced maneuvers, learning to anticipate movements and respond creatively. Every human understood that courage alone was not enough. Intelligence, preparation, and unity were equally important. Jack and Clara led expeditions to explore nearby systems, observing alien civilizations and resources. Each mission gathered information that could be used to strengthen humanity's position. Pilots, scientists, and diplomats worked together, creating strategies that combined knowledge, courage, and foresight. Humanity was learning to navigate the galaxy with skill, not just bravery. The delegation's visit lasted for weeks. During that time, they witnessed human problem-solving, innovation, and cooperation. They saw that humans could handle complex challenges and learn from them. The delegation left Earth with a new understanding of humanity. They reported back to the Council, sharing observations of a species that refused tribute, yet commanded respect through intelligence, courage, and unity. The Council was forced to reconsider its approach. Tribute alone could not secure control over a species capable of strategic thinking and resilience. Vorith began to see that humanity's refusal had revealed strengths that could benefit the galaxy, rather than threaten it. Other leaders quietly acknowledged that humans were not to be underestimated. The echoes of the simple word no continued to resonate, shaping perceptions and strategies across star systems. Humanity continued to build its alliances and networks. Smaller species contributed technology, knowledge, and resources. Humans shared their own discoveries and insights, creating a cycle of cooperation and mutual respect. Jack and Clara ensured that every action aligned with humanity's principles: freedom, courage, and intelligence. Every human involved in these efforts understood the importance of unity and careful planning. Earth became a hub of learning and diplomacy. Humans demonstrated that strength was not measured solely by fleets or weapons, but by the ability to think, adapt, and work together. Schools and universities focused on interstellar studies, preparing future leaders and diplomats. Scientists explored new technologies. Engineers developed advanced systems, and pilots trained for complex maneuvers. Every citizen contributed to humanity's growing reputation and influence. Jack and Clara reflected on the progress. Humanity had moved from a single word of defiance to a position of growing respect and influence. The Council's presence in orbit had tested them, but they had responded with intelligence, courage, and calm. The delegation's departure marked a turning point. The galaxy was beginning to understand that humanity was not just a small, fragile species but a force capable of shaping its destiny. As the stars stretched across the sky, humans looked upward with confidence. They had faced the Council, welcomed alien observers, and demonstrated their capabilities. Humanity's refusal to submit had transformed into a symbol of intelligence, courage, and unity. Jack and Clara knew that challenges would continue, but humanity was ready. Every action, every decision, and every alliance contributed to a future where humans could thrive on their own terms. Humanity's story had evolved. From defiance came understanding, from courage came respect, and from intelligence came influence. The echoes of the simple word "no" now resonated not just across the Council but throughout the galaxy. Humanity had proven that even a small species could command attention and respect through principle, preparation, and determination. The journey was ongoing, but the foundation was strong. The galaxy had begun to listen, and humanity was ready to shape its own path among the stars. Humanity had changed since the first meeting with the Council. Jack Harris and Clara Benson continued to guide their species, leading with calm confidence and intelligence. Every human had learned that courage alone was not enough. Knowledge, unity, and preparation were equally important. Humanity was no longer simply defending itself. They were shaping a new future among the stars. The Council had taken notice of humanity's progress. Some leaders were still skeptical, believing that humans might falter under pressure. Others quietly acknowledged that Jack and Clara's leadership had revealed a species capable of endurance, strategy, and growth. The echoes of the simple word "no" continued to resonate, reminding the galaxy that humans could stand firm and demand respect. A year had passed since the delegation's visit to Earth. Jack and Clara had organized further exchanges with smaller species, building alliances based on trust, knowledge, and cooperation. Technology, resources, and information were shared, allowing humanity to strengthen its position without aggression. These partnerships demonstrated that humans could influence the galaxy through intelligence and diplomacy, rather than weapons alone. One day, a new message arrived from the Council itself. Vorith, the chief leader, requested a meeting with Jack and Clara. This time the tone was different, not demanding but inquisitive. The Council wanted to understand how a species so small had grown to command attention and respect. Jack and Clara prepared carefully, knowing that this could be a turning point in humanity's relationship with the galaxy. The meeting was held on a neutral station, a place designed for peaceful communication and exchange. Jack and Clara arrived with a small team of advisors. They were greeted by Vorith and other Council leaders, who watched humans closely, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and caution. Jack stepped forward and spoke calmly. "We are here to share knowledge, to discuss cooperation, and to demonstrate humanity's commitment to peaceful coexistence. We will not offer tribute, but we will work with others to build understanding and trust." Vorith observed, listening carefully. "You have grown stronger and wiser since our first meeting. Your refusal was unexpected, but your actions have shown intelligence and courage. How did your species achieve this?" Clara explained. "Humanity learned from experience, from challenges, and from working together. We realized that survival requires more than strength. It requires intelligence, unity, and careful planning. We sought knowledge, built alliances, and strengthened our society. This is how we became capable of standing firm against even the most powerful species." The Council leaders nodded, impressed by the clarity and honesty of the humans' explanation. They asked questions about Earth's technology, governance, and culture. Jack and Clara responded openly, demonstrating that humans valued transparency, learning, and cooperation. The Council began to see that tribute could not command respect from a species that had earned its position through courage, intelligence, and unity. Over the following weeks, Earth's alliances continued to grow. Smaller species offered insights into the galaxy, sharing technology and strategies. Humans reciprocated with their own discoveries and solutions. This exchange of knowledge created a network of support and understanding that strengthened humanity's influence. Jack and Clara coordinated these efforts carefully, ensuring that every action aligned with humanity's principles and long-term goals. Meanwhile, the Council began to change its approach. Some leaders still advocated for pressure or intimidation, but others recognized that humanity's growth could be an asset. Vorith considered the possibility that humans could inspire other species, showing that courage and intelligence could challenge established power structures in constructive ways. The Council realized that respect could not be bought. It had to be earned, and humanity had earned it through action. Humanity's reputation spread further across the galaxy. Stories of their courage, intelligence, and unity reached distant civilizations. Many species were inspired, seeing that even a small planet could have a significant impact through determination and wisdom. Jack and Clara continued to lead with careful strategy, ensuring that humans remained prepared for any challenge, but also ready to cooperate, share knowledge, and build lasting relationships. Back on Earth, citizens continued to learn and grow. Schools focused on interstellar studies, preparing future leaders and diplomats. Scientists explored new technologies, while engineers developed systems to strengthen communication and defense. Pilots trained for complex maneuvers and soldiers studied strategy and problem-solving. Every human understood that their actions mattered not only for survival, but also for the reputation and future of their species. As Earth's influence grew, so did humanity's confidence. Jack and Clara led expeditions to new systems, observing civilizations and resources. They gathered information to anticipate challenges and identify opportunities for cooperation. Each mission demonstrated humanity's ability to think strategically, adapt to new environments, and act with intelligence and caution. The galaxy was beginning to recognize that humans were not just survivors but leaders capable of shaping their own destiny. The Council, observing these developments, began to shift its perspective. Vorth acknowledged that humanity's simple refusal had transformed into a symbol of resilience and intelligence. The humans' courage had inspired others, demonstrating that strength could come from unity, knowledge, and careful planning, not just weapons. Slowly, the Council began to treat humanity as a respected member of the interstellar community, rather than a species to be controlled. Jack and Clara reflected on humanity's journey. They had started with a single word, no, and that word had echoed across the stars, challenging perceptions and inspiring respect. Through courage, intelligence, and unity, humans had grown stronger, formed alliances, and earned a place in the galaxy. The simple act of standing firm had transformed into a movement of understanding, cooperation, and influence. As the stars stretched across the sky, humans looked upward with pride and confidence. They had faced the Council, welcomed alien observers, and demonstrated their capabilities. Humanity's refusal to submit had become a symbol of intelligence, courage, and unity. Jack and Clara knew that challenges would continue, but humanity was ready. Every decision, every alliance, and every action contributed to a future where humans could thrive on their own terms. Humanity's story had reached a turning point. From defiance came understanding, from courage came respect, and from intelligence came influence. The echoes of the simple word no continued to resonate throughout the galaxy, reminding all that even a small species could command attention and respect through principle, preparation, and determination. The journey was ongoing, but humanity's foundation was strong, and the galaxy had begun to listen. Jack and Clara knew that the future was theirs to shape, and humanity was prepared to step boldly into the stars.